center, a 6'10" senior, number 53, Ryne Williams.
Yeah, that's why I had my mouth like this and I'm bleeding and I'm kind of looking at it. Like I said, this was all just shock. Like going from the court to the locker room, it's just like a blur. It was my last game of high school and we were playing against Long Beach Milikan, who was from a really tough league. They finished third in their league and we finished second in our league, so we were seated higher, but they were definitely the better team. It was a lot of hype. You know, we were all hyped up, getting ready for the game. We come out first half, we're getting smacked by 20. It's like, it's not even close. We're getting smacked. You know, we go back into the locker room and we're like, dude, let's just lay it out. This is our last high school game. Like 2 to 3 minutes into the third quarter, I'm kind of looking up at the ball to look, you know, to get for the rebound, and this guy just boom, comes over my back and he just comes down, elbow right to the grill.
It's funny, like right after it happened, like I could tell something was wrong, and I went, of course, the mom, right? I go running out of the stands and I go into the locker room with him and his coach. And I can see his tooth was just completely turned. And he's just like pumped. He just wants to get back in the game.
Like I was so pissed. I was so pissed because I was like, this is my last high school game. Like I wanted to go out with a bang. You know, so I was really trying to show out, and we were already getting smacked by 20. So I was like, I'm not trying to leave my boys like this.
No, I can play. And I'm like, we need to call your dentist now. I called my dentist and they hooked us up with a oral surgeon, and they actually were able to come and see him that night.
It's probably going to be at least another year before we can get an implant. But he has, you know, we call it a little flapper. He's got like a retainer with a false tooth. He's gotten really used to it. It's kind of like a badge of honor now. You know, when people see him with the tooth in, the false tooth, they kind of wonder what's going on.
My dad was cool, but my mom was like, you're never gonna know what this is gonna affect your life. This is gonna affect you later on. Like, how are you gonna get a girlfriend?
Yeah, freshman year, he'd walk around all the time without it. And I'm like, Ryan, you know, how are you going to get a girlfriend like walking around toothless? He doesn't care. He is who he is.
We're just trying to protect the other teeth now.
Yeah, I've never injured anything else, but that tooth, it doesn't affect me on the court. It only affects me if I don't have my mouth guard. Like if I don't have my mouth guard there, it affects me mentally. Because I'm like, dude, don't get another tooth knocked out. You know what I mean? Yeah, my game has evolved a lot since high school. I ended up going to a private school for my first 2 years, and they didn't play me at all. Not a lick. Like I sat the bench. I was ready just to call it quits and just focus on school. Because my JV coach at Alamany, he gave me this like little write-up sheet. And it basically said, ability to perform at the varsity level, 0. Ability to perform at the college level, 0. Like all these things like 0, 0, 0. Like for a kid my age that was, you know, just trying to find a way. I mean, it sucked. It really did.
He loved baseball, and he probably got that from me. We never really knew he was going to be 7 feet tall. We knew he was going to be tall, but, you know, 7 feet, it just doesn't, you know, happen every day. So when he got to be a junior in high school, he just kind of outgrew baseball.
So I transferred back to my public school. We had a really good kid on varsity. He was a center. He ended up going to NAU that year. And so I wasn't going to get any minutes on varsity. So the coaches were like, look, we're going to put you on JV because we want you to develop. So I went on JV as a junior, which is pretty much unheard of.
You know, typically that's not a great sign for a college basketball prospect, but, you know, I just kind of stayed in touch, and he kept me updated, and then every time he emailed, all of a sudden he was an inch taller. And he was 6'9", and he was 6'10", and he was 6'11", and so then kind of going into a senior year, it kind of piqued my interest.
You know, I was slow. I was a little chubby. I wasn't very strong. I wasn't strong at all. You know, I had pencil arms. So I didn't really have a whole lot of strengths, and so I was a project, and a lot of coaches didn't want to take that on. So I was emailing a lot. And in Galima, when I emailed him, he hit us back. He had a conversation with my coaches just about me and, you know, how I was as a player. And I talked with my high school coach, and he was like, yeah, I told him straight up, you're a project. You got a lot of potential, but you're a project. And he was like, but I definitely told him that you got one of the biggest hearts that I've ever seen.
I knew since I got here that I wanted to be able to play for San Francisco State, so pretty much I would just work on my game a lot by myself, but During the spring semester, I decided to go and play intramural because I knew tryouts was coming. Ryne was a ref, so there was an instance where I was out on the perimeter, and one of the guys, he was fouling me, he was hand checking me, and I screamed at Ryne. And Ryne took his whistle out of his mouth and he said, "Yo, you don't gotta talk to me like that." And I just smiled. And I said, "You know what, you're right, bro, I apologize." It was just that moment of respect, mutual respect for one another. Ryne was he was the first basketball player to put that confidence or that give me that support. So I went to him and I kind of asked him, what are some of the things I need to be prepared for when I go to the tryouts? He just gave me that vote of confidence. He said, just go and play like how you're playing right now and you'll be fine. There's not too many people you can not know from anywhere and they'll support you. They'll give you that faith and that vote of confidence. So I can't explain, what I'm saying, how much that meant to somebody that was hungry as I was.
He's always communicating. He's always doing the right thing. Always pick you up. He's a good teammate.
He definitely still struggles with his vertical. He has never had to jump. I mean, he literally would just put his hands up and grab the rebound. So that's something I still struggle with him. I'm like, dude, you got to work on plyometrics. We got to get you to that vertical.
And that's going to be a big test for Ryne. Ryne offensively has been great for us. Defensively, he's been okay. And AJ was just such a phenomenal defender. And that's going to be the next step in his progression for Ryne, is to take that next step on the defensive end to accompany it with his offense. And so he is a great spot-up shooter, good passer and screener and all that on the offensive end. And now we need to add that next layer of being a great defender, and then add the next layer if he can be a around the basket force. And now he's going to be, the sky's the limit for him.
You got to get that X popping.